James Kaufman, World News Report today, July 8th, 2025. God bless you and yours, no matter where you are in the world. Please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell for critical future updates. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump doesn't want you talking about the Epstein list, about the Epstein flight logs, or about Epstein at all. He says, isn't that old news? Shouldn't we move on? Well, he's been talking about Kennedy for decades now. I want to show y'all the trash they released to try to cover their tracks. Trump refuses to prosecute and jail the pedophiles involved in this blackmail scheme. What they tried to show y'all was 10 hours of a video of a cell block 46. You can see door 46 here. This has nothing to do with where Epstein was, except for he might have been somewhere in that block, somewhere behind those doors. No telling who's behind those doors, because the camera behind those doors happened to be out. Wait until y'all see how mad Trump gets when asked about the Epstein files today. This is Epstein's actual cell here, where they say he committed suicide based on or blamed on guard negligence. Those guards happened to quit or disappear shortly thereafter. The entire 60-second sham is just that, a sham to confuse you. Remember this blue can here? It showed up right next to Jeffrey Epstein's cell right before his suicide. Someone could have easily made it through this camera area within 60 seconds and gone into block 46, where Epstein's cell was located. You're not looking at Epstein's cell here. You're looking at the front of a block of cells. And of course, we don't know anything going on in cell block 46 because that camera was not working at the time. There was a camera there, but it wasn't working at the time. Now, let's see Trump's terrible effort at redirecting and deflecting when asked about the Epstein files, or maybe even the flight logs, which we would love to see. Boy, is he angry that anyone would even ask the question today. Completely compromised.
Sure. Your memo and release yesterday on Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former labor secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of his death?
Yeah, sure.
Could I just interrupt? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
These are distractions from the real story, which is Jeffrey Epstein and all the pedophiles in America. Look at Trump deflecting, although he's still talking about JFK decades later.
That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
That seemed like the biggest deflection and redirection that I've ever seen. Trump is gone in my book now. Wow. You would have thought that he would at least release the flight logs if there's no client list, right?
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was It's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day.
Boy, y'all noticed yesterday when she gave her press conference, she had her cross taken off. Man, they're forcing her to lie through her teeth. She said truckloads of evidence arrived. Now it's one file. Where's the flight logs? Blondie?
To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every year, every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know that they didn't have that video actually saved from 1999. Now, I'm going to prove to y'all that Jeffrey Epstein was, in fact, working for intelligence right now. Meet Donald Barr. Yes, Bill Barr's father. He worked for the Office of Strategic Services, which became the CIA. He went to Columbia University after that and served as headmaster and then the Dalton School. Well, guess who he hired to work for him while he was at the Dalton School? Now, once I expose this, it's been changed, but let's take a look at what it says anyway. We said he served in the OSS, later to become the CIA under George Bush Sr. He was headmaster of the Dalton School for a brief time. This has all been changed. At the end of his tenure as headmaster, disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein was employed by him, by the way, as a calculus teacher. The problem is Jeffrey Epstein didn't have a college degree. It is now unclear, although Wiki said that Barr did hire him prior to them making the change, if Barr hired Epstein, which he did, and this was his entrance into the intelligence community. It's pretty cut and dry. Remember, this is Bill Barr's dad working for the CIA, and how did I tell you they moved CIA agents around? Well, via college, as professors or administration, and they were obviously recruiting from Columbia and from the Dalton School at the time. We've always known that they've recruited out of Columbia. Now, he doesn't want us talking about the Epstein files or Epstein at all. And in this conversation, several months ago, he actually tries to redirect towards Kennedy, an older situation that no one really cares about, that had no pedophiles that need to be arrested and prosecuted. Watch how he tries to work his magic, and it's not very magical once you know what's going on.
But a lot of big people went to that island. But fortunately, I was not one of them.
So how do you know a lot of big people went to that island then? And why are you so against releasing the flight logs?
It's just very strange for a lot of people that the list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Probably will be, by the way. Probably.
So if you're able to, you'll be...
Yeah, I'd certainly take a look at it. Now, Kennedy's interesting because it's so many years ago.
So he instantly deflects and redirects to Kennedy. But he's angry. If we ask about Epstein, this is sad, folks. A cover-up at its worst.
You know, they do that for danger too, because, you know, it endangers certain people, et cetera, et cetera. So Kennedy is very different from the Epstein thing.
No one asked about Kennedy. We asked about Epstein. Period. And now you want us to move on because of a flood? I don't think so. You've been concentrating on JFK's assassination for 4 or 5 decades now.
But yeah, I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it.
It seems like you have a big problem with it. What about providing the flight logs instead of the client list? These are just some of the photos I found with Donald Trump and either Ghislaine Maxwell or his best buddy, Jeffrey Epstein. Yet, he didn't know him very well. He's one of the people that's been photographed with Jeffrey Epstein more than any other person on the planet.